The border colony of Virel 9 wasn't kind to humans. The air was thin, the sun too sharp, and the locals, all sleek-skinned Nerati, treated humans like a curious malfunction they hadn't decided whether to fix or discard. Jack Coran didn't mind. His workshop was his world, a mess of half-disassembled alien tech, broken drones, and the comforting hum of generators that refused to die. He'd fought in 3 human wars before realizing machines were easier to heal than people. That's when she started showing up. A small figure would appear by his door every afternoon, quiet as dust. A Nerati girl, no more than 8, with pale violet skin and hair that caught the light like liquid silver. She never spoke, never blinked, just listened, her head tilted toward the sound of his tools. At first, Jack ignored her. Too many locals already thought humans were unpredictable. But when she tripped over a loose cable and still laughed, he couldn't help smiling. "You okay, kid?" She nodded, tapping her temple, then pointed to her eyes, both clouded white. That's when he realized she was blind. The next day she came again. And the next. She never asked for anything, just sat on the old stool near his workbench, humming softly as he worked. "Machines talk," she said once, tracing a circuit board with tiny fingers. "They sound different when they are scared." Jack laughed, then this one screaming, "You better tell it to behave." He started calling her Luma, light, in old Terran language. It felt right. Over time, the silence between them grew comfortable. Jack found himself explaining what he was doing, describing colors he couldn't see, the copper of the wires, the blue sparks of plasma welds. She listened like each sound painted her world. But one evening, she didn't come, nor the next. By the 3rd day, the shop felt hollow. Jack told himself she was fine. By the 5th, he knew she wasn't. That night, as twin moons rose over the alien skyline, Jack stood by the door of his darkened workshop, whispering to no one. "Hold on, kid, I'll fix this too." And somewhere inside, the soldier in him stirred awake again. The next morning, the workshop felt heavier than usual, as if the air itself knew something had gone missing. Jack stared at the half-finished Comare on his bench and saw only the empty stool beside it. He didn't know her name for sure, didn't know where she lived, but he knew the sound of her laugh and the way her head tilted when she was curious, small details that made the silence unbearable. That evening, he went looking. The alien district glowed like liquid glass, full of elegant shapes and colors that didn't belong to human eyes. Most residents turned away as he passed. A human wandering the Nerati quarter was already a spectacle, but one asking about a child drew colder stares. Finally, an elderly merchant whispered the truth. House Asira's young one had been injured. Energy surge, optic nerves gone. Permanently. Jack felt something inside him snap. The soldier in him recognized helplessness. The mechanic in him refused to accept it. By midnight, his workbench was alive again. Sparks, scribbles, caffeine, and defiance filled the room. He muttered to himself between welds, "You want to see, kid? Then we'll damn well build you a way to see." He scavenged everything. Heat sensors from mining drones, echo mappers from abandoned probes, a neural relay core salvaged from an old war helmet. None of it was meant to work together. Which was perfect. Humans never waited for permission to innovate. 3 days passed without sleep. His hands trembled from exhaustion. His eyes burned. But the shape of the visor was there, a curved band of alloy, flexible, humming faintly when powered. It wasn't elegant like Nerati tech. It was rough, stubborn, alive. When he finally tested it, the visor translated the world into pulses. Heat, sound, distance, creating a field of perception. Imperfect, but functional. He stared at the flickering holograph on his table and whispered, half smiling, "You wanted machines that talk. Luma, this one sings." For the first time in years, Jack felt purpose. Not as a soldier, not as a repairman, but as a human, building light from scrap and stubborn hope. And somewhere beyond the city's shimmering skyline, destiny was already turning its gaze toward him. Jack barely noticed the sunrise when it came. His workshop was a battlefield of tools and empty cups, but on the center table lay victory, a silver visor, humming softly like a heartbeat. He was adjusting the final calibration when the entry sensor chimed. He looked up and froze. Luma stood in the doorway, her small frame wrapped in a ceremonial cloak. But this time, she wasn't alone. Behind her were 4 armored Narati soldiers, their armor refracting the light like molten glass. The air around them shimmered with authority. Jack's first instinct was panic. "Hey there, kid," he said carefully, crouching down. "You brought company today." One of the soldiers stepped forward, his voice smooth but cold. "Human mechanic Jack Koren, you are summoned by the House of Asira. Immediately." Jack raised his hand slightly. "Summoned? For what? Charging too much for repairs." No answer, just blank helmets and silence. Then Luma spoke, her voice trembling. "They found out, Jack, about the visor." Jack's chest tightened. The soldiers weren't here to thank him. Still, he refused to show fear. He took the visor from his table, wiped it gently with a cloth, and held it out. "Before you take me anywhere, let her try it." The lead soldier hesitated, glancing at the others. Luma's small hand shook as she took the device. Jack knelt, adjusting it carefully around her head. The moment the visor powered on, a soft pulse of blue light spread across her face. She gasped, I can feel the room. The tools, the walls. Jack, I see you." Jack laughed, a sound caught between pride and disbelief. "Told you I'd fix it, kid." Even the soldiers stood motionless, or breaking through their discipline. But the moment passed. The lead guard stepped forward again, voice lower now. "The child's gift violates High Council law. You will come with us to answer for this technology." Jack's jaw tightened. "Gift? You call helping a blind kid a crime?" Luma clutched his sleeve, fear in her voice. "They'll take it away." Jack sighed, glancing at the visor's faint glow. "Then I guess I'm going with you." He placed a steady hand on her shoulder and whispered, "Don't worry, kid. Humans have a way of fixing trouble too." And as they led him out into the alien light, Jack knew this wasn't the end of what he'd built. It was only the beginning. The journey to the Asira Citadel was silent. Jack sat in the transport cabin, surrounded by soldiers who looked carved from glass and silence. Through the narrow viewport, he watched the alien skyline blur into streaks of violet light. Every instinct screamed at him to run, but the child's face, her first smile since seeing again, kept him still. Inside the citadel, polished halls stretched like crystal arteries. At the far end stood Lady Ariana Asira, tall, poised, and terrifyingly calm. Her eyes, silver and sharp, studied Jack like he was both a curiosity and a crime. "You altered my daughter's body without consent," she said. "You touched sacred biology with crude tools." Jack stood straighter. "I gave her back the world she lost." A long silence followed. One of the guards shifted uneasily. Then Arion asked, "How?" Jack shrugged slightly. "I built her something new from pieces everyone else threw away. It's what humans do." That answer earned him the smallest flicker of surprise. But before she could respond, an aide rushed in, breathless. "My lady, the child's chamber. She's gone." Jack's heart dropped. "What do you mean, gone?" he demanded. Arion's expression hardened. "You brought chaos into this house, human. Now you will help us undo it." Security feeds lit up around them, blurry figures, cloaked, carrying Luma through a service gate. Jack recognized the insignia on their armor. House Varon, rivals. "They want the visor," he said quietly, "and they'll kill her to get it." Arion snapped an order in her native tongue, summoning troops. Jack stepped forward. "No soldiers. You'll scare them, and she'll get hurt. Let me go." Her eyes narrowed. "Why should I trust you?" Jack met her gaze. "Because I built what they are willing to steal. I know how it thinks." For the first time, the noble facade cracked. She nodded once. "You have 1 hour, human." Back in his workshop, Jack moved fast. He stripped his gear, packed only what he could carry, EMP charges, a neural dampener, and a pulse tracker. Each tool old, ugly, human-made. He paused at the door, muttering to himself, "I fixed her eyes once. Guess it's time to fix the mess too." Then he vanished into the alien night, one man against an entire house, guided only by determination and the faint echo of a little girl's laughter. The forest beyond the citadel was alive with alien light, plants that breathed, roots that pulsed faintly beneath Jack's boots. His pulse matched theirs, quick and uneven. The tracker in his hand flickered, picking up a faint signal, Luma's visor. He found them near an abandoned relay tower, 2 armored Narati soldiers guarding a hover transport. Between them, in a containment pod, was Luma, her tiny hands pressed against the glass, her lips forming a silent plea. Jack crouched low, breathing through the fear. "Okay," he whispered. "1 human against 2 aliens. Great odds." He activated the first device, a crude EMP coil patched together with tape and hope. The pulse exploded silently, washing the clearing in blue light. Armor flickered. Weapons dimmed. The aliens shouted, disoriented. Jack moved. Old soldier instincts kicked in, quick, efficient, brutal. A wrench, a low strike, 1 body down. The other raised a blade of light, but Jack hurled his multitool. Metal clanged, light sputtered, silence returned. He ran to the pod, to open the lock, and lifted Luma out. She clung to him, trembling. "Jack, they said they'd make me better." "You're already perfect," he said, pressing the visor back into her hands. "Let's get you home." But when he powered it on, the visor didn't just glow, it shined. Strange symbols spiraled into the air, forming constellations no human had seen. Luma blinked, her expression filled with awe. "Jack, it's showing me more than before. I can see everything." Jack frowned. Everything. The world breathing, the energy in people, the lies hiding in light. He realized then, the visor wasn't just a tool, it was evolving. It was seeing through matter, through deception, through truth itself. Moments later, a roar of engines filled the clearing. House of Sirius soldiers arrived, Lady Arion at the front. She saw Luma alive and exhaled in relief. Jack handed her the visor. "It's not mine anymore. It's hers. But it's changing, and it's big." Aeon looked from the glowing device to the tired human standing before her. "You've done more than fix a child's eyes, Jack Coran. You've altered how our world will see forever." Jack smiled faintly. Guess humans are good at causing trouble that turns into hope. As dawn rose over Virel 9, the visor's light stretched across the forest like a sunrise made of truth, and for the first time in centuries, 2 civilizations looked at each other and finally saw.